Hello, welcome back to Old Fart Talk. Tonight we're going to have some more Art Bell open lines. See if there's anything in here I can throw a little bit of a reaction to. They're always unique. They're always worth a listen to. All right, let's get on with these phone calls.
Hello, Art Bell. This is Dean from Venice. Are you familiar with the program content of ABC Nightline for Friday night? Yes, I am actually, Dean. This fax is to inform you of the topic for those of you that did not see it. I believe you'll find it interesting and hope you'll discuss it on your show. They covered alien life forms, mainly of microbiological and bacterial origin. They stated that a probe was sent to the moon before the Apollo mission. In that probe was a solar panel that an installation technician sneezed on. The bacteria left on the panel was launched to the moon. The probe stayed on the moon for 2 years in a zero-oxygen, highly radioactive environment. When the Apollo NASA mission retrieved the probe, they discovered the bacteria to be alive and active. Scientists are concerned that bringing soil samples back from Mars could contain microbial life forms that are not killed by the harsh environment of space. They spoke about the very real possibility that these life forms could have serious negative impact on Earth. If you have seen this Nightline segment, I would like to hear your opinion and ask you to open the topic for discussion. Yeah, sure. Dean, by the way, thank you for the facts, Dean. I think that's pretty good evidence that such a thing is indeed possible, and that if we bring back material objects, rocks, whatever, such a thing could occur. However, bear in mind that the Earth is constantly being bombarded by meteorites of various size, many of which do not burn up in the atmosphere, one of which we now know contains microbial life from Mars. So if that danger was real, then we should have already been infected by, and perhaps are infected by, and one day will be infected by something from somewhere else that doesn't quite burn up completely in the atmosphere. So I would think the risk of bringing back something from Mars would be no bigger than we experience as a general basis as meteorites re-enter and make it.
I want to throw my input on what he just talked about. I actually think that is possible. It makes sense. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what can survive up there. We don't know. But it's very interesting. Tell me now in the comments what you think. Back to the calls.
When I worked in Las Vegas, and for a number of years I did the program in Las Vegas, from the Union Plaza Hotel, it was called at that time, and one night when I was doing a show, this very night, as a matter of fact, a lady called up and claimed to be a witch. She gave me some very, very disconcerting information, personal knowledge, which I actually bleeped off the air. It was so personal, I couldn't believe that she could possibly know these things about me. And toward the end of the call, she said she was going to come and leave something for me. Well, she left me a Ouija board, an ancient Ouija board. I have never, nor will I to this day, tell you what has happened to that Ouija board. But when you call upon spirits, when you call upon the dark side, and you do it with something, an instrument, it does not matter, you'd better be damn careful what you're doing. Ouija boards are an opening. They're an opening into a world where there are things that you may not really wish to meet. So my advice to you, without telling you the detailed story of this board, which is frightening, my advice to you is do not play with Ouija boards. It's like opening a door, and you just don't know what's going to walk through.
Trust me on that. I agree with him 100%. I got a video of a house I used to live in. Everything got crazy after me and a buddy played with a Ouija board. I won't touch those things. I don't even look at them now. I see one, I got to go. Back to the calls.
First time caller line, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, this is Linda.
Hello, Linda. How are you?
Good. My radio is not on.
Oh, Linda, you're a good girl. Where are you?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, okay.
Anyway, I wanted to call to tell you about my nephew.
Your nephew?
I was actually there when he was born. I wasn't in the room, but I was right outside.
Yes.
It was kind of a stressful delivery. He had this thing called meconium, where he sucked in a bowel movement while he was being born.
Oh.
So he was rushed by me really quick. Of course, my brother was freaking out the entire time, thinking he was going to die. I just remember when they took him in front of me, I felt this cold chill, and I really got sick to my stomach thinking he was going to die, but then I just felt this presence. And anyway, that I never really told anyone about that.
So in other words, you're telling me that the little one was evil.
It just felt really cold, and I'd felt other things before and seen things.
And how long ago was this?
This is 5 years, about.
5 years. So in other words, our little tyke is now 5 years old.
Yeah, and see, we've always joked, my boyfriend and I, about him being evil, because he was born on June 25th, and we always thought that was funny. It was kind of like, 6 months after Christmas, and we used to joke around and call him the Antichrist.
Uh-huh. So and how is little Damien now?
Well, there's been incidents.
Like what?
Things with my other nieces and nephews. He tried to gouge out my other niece's eyes.
Oh, that's a sign right there.
Yeah, it was really, I didn't witness it. My boyfriend did and my father did. And my father would never believe anything like this, so he took us all aside and said we need to keep him away from all the other children. And so we did that, but now hearing about, when I heard your whole thing the other night about the Antichrist, I was almost relieved, thinking that he's been found and he's not my nephew.
I see.
Yeah.
And so what else has little Damien done?
There's been animal incidents. They live really out in a farm town, kind of about, 200 miles away. And there's been things they haven't been able to have a cat, and he's thrown cats around by their tails, done things, other things I'm sure that I haven't even heard about. These are all just rumors, too, among my other brothers. So
suppose something happened and you were suddenly in charge. You had to take care of little Damien and raise little Damien from now on. What would you do?
I don't know what I'd do. That's what I'm really worried about, is hearing about things. Who knows what's going to happen? Are there going to be missing things when he gets into his teens? Are we going to, we've joked about this, thinking that we'd hear about animal mutilations happening, and maybe, but now that I'm hearing more about this, there's maybe others out there. I would want to know what I'd have to do if I found absolute proof that he really is.
Most 5-year-olds are just sort of pulling stuff off coffee tables and, causing that, and little Damien's gouging out eyes and taking care of cats.
And doesn't really seem to have a soul. You kind of look at him, compared to, because my niece is the same exact age.
Blank eyes?
Blank eyes, nothing there, but extremely intelligent with, block building and pictures, and very artful, and knows everything, and talked very early.
Probably the first word it said was Armani.
Let me write that down. Wow, this is really... Anyway, I really consider this a privilege, even talking to you.
Well, it's a privilege talking to you. I'm a little worried for you.
I also wanted to ask you if Kathleen Keating had any type of advice, how you'd handle this if I did find maybe something in his hairline when I babysat him, or
you found, numbers?
Yeah, if I did, which I haven't, but if I, were to find anything, what would I do? There'd be no way they would believe anything like this.
Well, there'd probably be no way you could live to tell us about it.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't think I'd look. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. Stay in touch. Dear, I had to fax when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past the year 2500 AD. Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034. Offshoots of certain
successful fusion reactor research allowed scientists at CERN to produce the world's first contained singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities inside a magnetic field. By altering the speed and direction of rotation, you can travel both forward and backward in time. Time itself can be understood in terms of connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel on your original timeline. When you turn the singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there. In other words, a new universe is created. To get back to your original line, you must travel a split second farther back and immediately throw the engine into forward without turning it off. Some interesting outcomes of this are: 1. You meet yourself. I have done it often, even taken a younger version of myself along for a few rides before returning myself to the new timeline and going back to mine. 2. You can alter history in the new universe that you have just created. Most of the time, the changes are subtle. Sometimes I'll notice car models that don't exist or books that come out late. The oldest one was a skyscraper that wasn't built in a near-favorite store of mine in New York. Interestingly, when you travel in time, you must compensate for the orbit of the Earth. Since the time machine doesn't move, you have to adjust the engine so you remain on the planet when you turn it off. Unfortunately, it was also discovered that anyone going forward in time from my 2036 hit a brick wall in the year 2564. Everyone who has ever been there has reported that nothing exists. When the machine is turned off, you find yourself surrounded by blackness and silence. Now, most time travelers are trying to find out where the line went bad by going into the past, creating a new universe, and proceeding forward to see if the same thing results in 2564. It appears the line went bad around the year 2000. I'm here now in this time to test a few theories of mine before going forward. Now, for the future, you might want to know about. 1. Y2K is a disaster. Many people die on the highways when they freeze to death trying to get to warmer weather. 2. The government tries to keep power by instituting martial law, but all of it collapses when their efforts to bring the power back up fail. 3. A power facility in Denver is able to restart itself, but is mobbed by hundreds of thousands of people and destroyed. This convinces most that maybe we shouldn't bring the old system back up. 4. A few years later, communal government system is developed after the Constitution takes a few twists. China retakes Taiwan. Israel wins the largest battle for their life, and Russia is covered in nuclear snow from their collapsed reactors. Art, the reason I'm here now is because I believe a nuclear weapon set off by Iraq in the Middle East war with Israel might have something to do with the damaged timeline. I will test that theory and get back to you. Please pray that we discover the reason why there is no apparent future after 2564. So I couldn't resist. I thought that was quite a good fax. There you have it.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
How are you doing this evening, Art?
Quite well, sir.
Blessing to you and Happy New Year to you and your wife, Ramona.
Thank you. Same to you.
Mine is also about alien contact.
Oh.
But it's more extensive than your previous callers because I've had these contacts since I was 5 years old. I'm now 59. Raised and born in Los Angeles. I have a top-secret clearance with the U.S. government through the Army in the field of cryptography, which I acquired in 68 through 70. And I spent my tour of duty in South Korea with the 7th Division in Camp Casey, and that's where I was informed by a lieutenant colonel that the U.S. government has knowledge of these contacts because I was told that I had a red file on myself.
All right, let's slow down.
Okay.
Who informed you that the U.S. government had official contact?
There was a lieutenant colonel that was active in the 7th Division during the period of 69-70 when I was on tour there.
Under what circumstances would he tell you something like that? I mean,
well, there was a situation that was going on at that time in South Korea that many of the Americans that were at Camp David was aware of. There was high racial tension at that particular time because of what was happening in the United States.
Right.
And I was involved with a particular group of people that was involved in various investigations.
Okay.
Long story short was that this gentleman who had contacted me very secretly had informed me that there were individuals on the base at the time that felt that my knowledge of certain things was injurious to them and that I was in danger. He informed me that the U.S. government was not going to allow anything to happen to me because I had a red file on me. That's the first time that I ever had access to that kind of information. What he did to confirm and verify that he was valid, there were things that he told me in a 2-hour secret meeting that occurred within the livelihoods and the life of my family members that only could have been known by just family members. It's almost as if there was a taping device in the house or on the phone.
They knew things.
Oh,
yeah,
very, very, very.
Okay, we don't have a lot of time, so you got to get to the bottom line.
Now, what transpired after that is that he informed me that they knew that I had had contacts for a very long time in my life. Now, I'm going to go beyond that. I'm just giving you information to verify that you're talking to someone who's actually had it. I ran for mayor of Gardena in Los Angeles in 2001, and people can look on the internet for
find out who you are by that means. Okay, so
exactly. Okay, so now what I want to tell you is this: is that I've had contact with several different species, energy forms, humanoid forms, bipedals that are not human-looking.
Okay, if you've had all this contact, then I ask you the standard questions. Do you have any idea what their motives are?
I do.
Why they're... Okay, good. Go ahead. I want to know. What?
Okay, number one is that 99.9% of those that are now visiting the Earth are not hostile. They are here because the Earth is in a great difficult time. The shield of the Earth is starting to disintegrate. They're in the process of trying to rejuvenate that. But beyond that, these species have told me that mankind is about to annihilate itself in nuclear war, that biogenetic experimentation has been initiated so that there would be a preservation of the human consciousness and the gene.
Oh, my God.
Mixed with alien life forms that would exist elsewhere.
So, in other words, we're about to blow ourselves to smithereens. They're taking samples of us to ensure that some humanity is...
That's correct.
Saved, like so many endangered species.
That's correct.
Oh, my God.
And everybody makes the joke about the little green men that come from Mars.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they exist, but they don't come from Mars. They're about 3 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
I am not the only one on the planet. As a matter of fact, there are many of your listeners that will call in and verify this, that they are one of the major entities at the moment initiating biogenetic experimentation, and I was shown a female hybrid human mixed with their particular alien DNA. This female was about 13 or 14 years old. She was about 4 feet high. She had the power of levitation. She had pure white hair. That made it strange. Green epidermis, pure white hair, pure white teeth, but she had the physiognomy of one of my daughters. And very, very beautiful, highly intelligent, and very telepathic. Mankind is being visited by our brothers and sisters that want to help us. Also, what I need to tell you, which is very dire. I was shown in this craft with these smaller green entities a very large screen. It looked like a movie screen. I was shown Los Angeles, New York, and Washington being struck by nuclear weapons. I also was shown an asteroid that was going to hit the Earth. It was going to come across the United States at nighttime from east to west. A large portion falls off somewhere near Wyoming, and the largest portion falls off just east of the Big Island of Hawaii, which will cause a tidal wave at night several miles high, striking and destroying the San Francisco Bay Area. And all that was left, is when the water receded, was the northern portion of the Golden Gate Bridge.
God.
Yeah.
You've given us an awful lot to chew on.
I was also to tell you this. You are, this year, 2005, you and your wife, there's this evolvement that you have made in the last few years. You are now spiritually on the level for contact. And the woman who spoke about the cat that is coming to you, the tomcat that's coming to you, I want to let you know something, is that through this particular entity that's coming, it's going to heighten your contact level.
Very interesting. So we're learning the world's going to end. We got that. He always had quite the collars, didn't he? Tell me down in the comments what you're thinking. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay dark.